Part of the fun of My Pokémon Ranch is watching your ranch level up as you deposit more and more Pokémon. Besides having more room for your Pokémon to play around and unlocking special trades with Haley, once you reach level 4 at 15 Pokémon deposited, large pink and yellow gift boxes will begin to appear each day. At level 8 with 50 deposits, the daily number increases to 2, 3 at level 11 with 100 Pokémon, 4 at level 15 with 250 along with unlocking the Fione trade, 5 at level 20 reached after 500 Pokémon, and finally 999 deposits famously unlocks Haley's Mew, as well as the maximum 6 toy boxes per day. Haley doesn't tell us outright, but there are a few ways to open these up. Either having a Pokémon tackle them, picking them up and dropping them with the cursor, or my personal favorite, shaking the Wii remote to trigger an earthquake that opens all of the boxes at once. The toys you receive each day are almost entirely random, with 23 available in the base game and a further 12 in the Platinum patch. Some toys can be used by Pokémon, some by Miis, and some even have associated types that influence which Pokémon like to play with them. Pokémon of the same type as the toy's associated type will be more inclined to spend time with it, and Pokémon that are weak to the associated type will often run away. Today, let's go over all their features and interactions that they can have with the inhabitants of the ranch. Starting in alphabetical order with the toys from the base game, the Attractor is a strange device that Miis will pick up and point at nearby Pokémon, slowly dragging them in. The bonfire acts as a gathering place for Pokémon and Miis, who will walk up to enjoy the warmth. Sometimes they'll stray too close and get burned if they don't resist the fire type, similar to being attacked by a fire type Pokémon. If a water type Pokémon sprays the bonfire, the fire will go out temporarily. The bonfire also makes an appearance in the Circle Dance, Ring Dance, Hop Hop Dance, Zigzag Dance, and Dizzy Dance events. This version of the bonfire is fully interactable, though most Pokémon will keep their distance during event cutscenes. There was this one time during Ranch Week where for some reason one of the Zigzagoon wandered off and the event got soft-locked, where you can see the bonfire working as normal. The Bounce Back Ball is a blue kickball that can be launched into other Pokémon or Miis to send them flying. The Burst Ball is a cartoonish red bomb with stars that alternate in yellow and white, that explodes if anyone so much as touches it. It can still be picked up and will still explode if it touches anything. The Challenger is a training dummy that Pokémon will occasionally challenge to some sort of dodging contest. If they fail, it launches them away similar to an attack from a fighting type. If they dodge the Challenger's punches, it will dispense some treats. The fountain is another gathering spot similar to the bonfire where Pokémon and Miis will gather to watch the water spray. Pokémon will occasionally jump into the center and ride on top of the geyser as well. The leader flag, once picked up, will cause deposited Pokémon assigned to that Mii to form a circle and march around the ranch. If the Mii has no assigned Pokémon, they will shake the flag a few times before tossing it away. This toy also appears in parade mode, as well as in the Sumo Parade event where it's held by Haley. Similar to the leader flag, when Miis pick up a parade drum, they will lead a line of nearby Pokémon that will begin to parade behind them. The pitfall is a hole in the ground that Pokemon and Miis will dive into, eventually falling upside down out of the sky. If a Pokemon is too large, they won't fit and will simply bounce out. It's tricky to nail down exactly which Pokemon are too large for certain interactions. It seems to be based on how large a Pokemon's model is relative to whatever they're trying to use. The Poke Balloons are clearly designed after those seen on Balloon Pikachu, and will allow anyone who wears them to float into the air. Miis will pick up and ring the Pokebell to attract the attention of nearby Pokemon, sometimes angering them if it wakes them up while they sleep. Pokemon can also ring the bell by tackling it from the side. Pokemon will sometimes bounce on the Poke Cushion, but its main function is for a Mii to put it on their head to allow a small Pokemon to ride around on top. If the Pokemon is too large, the Mii will be squished and the cushion will fall off their head. The Poke Microphone will cause Pokemon to walk up and cry into it. This cry is also sent through the speaker built into the Wii Remote. The Poke Pendulum is a weird sculpture made from a bent spoon, and Pokemon will gather nearby to watch the pendulum. If they watch for long enough, they will be confused or put to sleep. The Poke Rocket is a massive cannon that Pokemon will occasionally jump inside and fire themselves out of. If a Mii attempts to use the Poke Rocket, it will explode and startle them. The Poke Pallet is the only toy that unlocks at a later level than toy boxes themselves, only appearing once the ranch reaches level 20 with 500 Pokemon. The reason for the delayed arrival is simple, as when this toy is used, it will cause a cutscene where Pokemon on the ranch attempt to form themselves into a sprite of the Pokemon who activated the toy. The colors used are taken from the Pokemon's color in the Pokédex, which causes some strange approximations when the Pokemon doesn't quite match its designated color, with shiny Pokemon often missing the correct color entirely. But if you squint your eyes and maybe dim your TV screen, a few of them almost look like the sprite they were going for. The round rock is similar to the Challenger, where Pokemon will attempt to dodge it as it rolls at them. Instead of treats for dodging well, however, the only prize seems to be the pride of not getting flattened. The slippery peel will sit on the ground and trip Miis and Pokemon that step on it. The snowman will turn and blast ice at any Pokemon or Mii that interacts with it, freezing them solid if they do not resist ice, similar to an attack from an ice-type Pokemon. Frozen Pokemon and Miis will T-pose and can be pushed around, causing them to slide away. If the snowman is hit by a fire, rock, steel, or fighting attack, it will briefly shrink. The spin ride, as the name suggests, will spin Pokemon and Miis around. Some will slide off while spinning, while others will be launched into the air. The spring stand is a bouncy spring that launches Pokemon and Miis high up into the air. The Stinky Ball is a strange golden ball that, when held by a Mii, emits a stinky yellow gas that repels anyone who comes near, similar to the gas released by stinky Pokemon like Weezing and Skuntank. Eventually, the Mii will become frustrated with the ball and toss it on the ground. Despite not having an associated type, all Pokemon will run from the Stinky Ball. The last of the base game toys, the training bag, will sit and allow Pokemon to practice their type-based attacks, while being immune to the usual added effects. Onto the toys added in the Platinum patch, the Apple Box is a place for smaller Pokemon to sit, allowing Miis to pick it up and carry them around. Certain Pokemon are too big to fit in the box, however. If one of these Pokemon attempts to use the box while a Mii is holding it, they'll knock it out of the Mii's hands. The Apple Box is also subject to a strange bug that affects certain toys. The developers seemed to want the game to wait until you've seen everything a toy can do before the camera moves off of it. To this end, the camera will continue to focus on certain toys a little while after they're done being used. The issue arises when you consider that while the camera is focused on a toy, the nearest Pokemon or Mii capable of using that toy will run over and begin playing with it, which will then cause the camera to focus on it when they're done, which will then cause the nearest Pokemon or Mii to walk over and play with it, and so on. The Apple Box and Big Apple Box seem to constantly swap focus between the toy and whichever Pokemon is currently in it, which causes the camera to linger on them even longer. For example, you can see with this Fateful Encounter Totodile, it has the blue sparkles while the camera is focused on it, which disappear when it leaves the box and the camera shifts back to the toy. There are a few things that can interrupt this loop without player intervention, such as the clock event, the toy being in use long enough for the camera to move off of it naturally, or the toy falling outside the fence preventing anyone else from using it. This bug happens with the Attractor, the Leader Flag if the Mii using it has no assigned Pokemon, the Stinky Ball, the Apple Box, and the Big Apple Box. Speaking of which, the Big Apple Box is an alternate version which is too big for Miis to carry, but allows for Pokemon of almost any size to fit inside. Their behavior once inside is nearly identical, except smaller Pokemon will sometimes run laps around the interior of the box. The Birthday Cake is a special toy that is normally absent from the usual toy box pool. It will only appear on days where a Mii's birthday is taking place, specified when they are created in the Mii Maker and denoted by a birthday hat and lei instead of the usual rancher hat. If a Mii celebrating a birthday touches the cake, the candles will light up and a short cutscene will play. The Pokemon who dance in this cutscene will be chosen mostly randomly, with the exception that Pokemon assigned to that Mii will be prioritized if available. The bounce pad is a large pink flan-shaped thing that Pokemon will run into and be bounced backwards. Sometimes a Pokemon will stick to the bounce pad for a time before being launched. The dice can be rolled by Pokemon, Miis, or by being dropped by the player's cursor, causing random effects for each result. On a 1, it emits a cloud of stinky gas repelling everyone nearby. On a 2, it plays a short melody from Jigglypuff's song, putting everyone nearby to sleep. On a 3 or a 4, nothing happens. On a 5, it will dispense a small number of treats towards the nearest Pokémon, and on a 6, it dispenses a large number of treats in all directions. The flower is a Graysidia flower that Pokémon will occasionally walk up and smell. If a shaman smells the flower during the day, it will transform into its sky form. Shaman will revert back to its land form at sunset or if the player activates parade mode, though surprisingly it will not revert if frozen by an ice type Pokémon or a snowman. The lamp is the only toy that acts differently based on the Pokémon's type matchups. If the Pokémon that activates it resists or is immune to electric, it will simply go out. If the Pokémon is specifically an electric type, the lamp will shine brightly. If the Pokémon isn't electric type and doesn't resist electric, the lamp will instead shock them. The magnet is unique as it's the only toy that neither Mii's or Pokémon can use. Instead, this toy activates when picked up by the player's cursor, where it will pull in the first Pokémon or Mii it hovers over. From there, it will only pick up Pokémon of the same type until it's put back down. If the first Pokémon has multiple types, it will pull in any Pokémon that shares at least one of them. Pokémon that interact with the picture frame will rotate it until it faces the current camera angle and pose for a photo. With the automatic camera mode, however, this often means that the camera will instantly move away from the correct angle. Like the Apple Box, the picture frame has a larger variant as the big picture frame, which has the added effect of small Pokémon being unable to rotate it, eventually being flicked backwards from pulling too hard. The tree acts as another gathering place for Pokémon and Miis who will wait for someone else to make friends with and join them on a walk. If no one joins them, they'll eventually walk away saddened or angry. Our final toy, the Twirler, is a turbine that sits on the ground, where Pokémon will attempt to run past it to get it spinning. Successfully spinning the Twirler will cause a tornado to rise out of the center, similar to an attack from a Dragon-type Pokémon, though some Pokémon will run at it from the wrong angle and simply bounce off. And with that, I hope you've enjoyed watching these fun little toy interactions in my Pokémon Ranch. Speaking of, I'll be hosting the next Ranch Week very soon, starting June 3rd and running all the way through June 9th. For those unfamiliar, Ranch Week is a shiny hunting event where Generation 3 and 4 shinies found during the event end up on a week-long stream of my Pokémon Ranch. I'll have a more proper announcement video when it begins, and I'll hope to see you there. So thanks for sticking around to the end of the video, and thanks for watching.